How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the illegal immigrant who was drunk driving and killed two people, Colts football player Edwin Jackson, and also the Uber driver who was helping Edwin Jackson at the time, who had become ill. Edwin and the driver, they were on the side of the road outside of their vehicle for whatever reason, and the guy, the illegal immigrant, is driving erratically and crashes into them on the side of the road. Now you see the football player right here. That's Edwin Jackson. I think he was 26 years old, played for the Indianapolis Colts. And the article reads, prosecutor filed felony charges on Wednesday against an immigrant illegally living in the U.S. who was suspected in a drunken driving crash that killed Indianapolis Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson and an Uber driver. Manuel Orrego-Zavala, who is from Guatemala and has twice been deported from the U.S., is charged with causing the death while driving intoxicated and leaving the scene of an accident. A 37-year-old said little during his initial court hearing, responding through an interpreter as the judge explained the proceedings and charges. Now, okay, a couple of things right here. Okay, you've been deported twice from the U.S. for what? Was it because you were just here illegally? Was it because you committed a crime aside from being here illegally? And one more thing, the F-150 you had, did you have that car legally? Did you steal that car? There's a lot of type of stuff that goes on. Illegal immigrants that come over here, they steal cars. Sometimes they send them back to Mexico. Sometimes they just use them for their own personal situation. And how are you here illegally, living here for an extended period of time, been deported twice already, and you don't speak any English? I don't understand. Okay, you need an interpreter for your court hearing at 37 years old. When did you start coming over here? That's a question I would have. And on top of that, he ran on foot. It said that he left the scene, but it didn't say how he left. What he did was when he crashed the car, his truck, pardon me, he got out and ran on foot. And he had no license, of course. The article continues. He's very distraught, to say the least, said his lawyer, Jorge Torres. He's very confused. Investigators said Orrego-Zavala was driving the pickup truck that hit Jackson and his Uber driver, 54-year-old Jeffrey Monroe, while the men were standing outside Monroe's car early Sunday along Interstate 70. Court documents allege a blood test conducted at a hospital determined Orrego-Zavala had a blood alcohol level of 0.19%, more than double Indiana's legal limit for driving. The two most serious charges each carry maximum sentence of up to 20 years in prison. Orrego-Zavala was deported in 2007 and 2009 and was again living illegally in the U.S. at the time of the crash, according to investigators. He was charged late Tuesday by federal prosecutors with illegal reentry of a previously deported alien. Now, this is something that has been really focused on under the Trump administration. If you're coming in here illegally and you're like a repeat offender, I think at that point you get charged with a felony. So the hit and run, because he did run, he hit the people and then he tried to run on foot. The hit and run, driving illegally, two people died, plus you've been here twice, deported twice. I mean, he might go to jail forever. He faces up to 10 years in prison on that charge, you know, the illegal reentry as a felony, which the U.S. Attorney's Office said will be handled after any state charges are resolved. So you go through the charges of the hit and run, killing two people, drunk driving, fleeing the scene, and then you get hit with the illegal reentry as a felony charge. So like I said, he's going to be gone for a long time. President Donald Trump drew added attention to the case on Twitter, calling the highway collision that killed Jackson and Monroe, quote, disgraceful, unquote. And the president also prodded Democrats to work with him on legal immigration and border security. Marion County prosecutor Terry Curry criticized the comment, saying his office would, quote, vigorously prosecute, unquote, the fatal crash case, regardless of whether Orrego-Zavala was in the country illegally. That's crazy. I mean, look, of course, the situation is tragic. The case should be prosecuted primarily based on people that died, but we can't ignore the fact that the guy was here illegally and had been deported twice before. I think this needs to be a message to people. You can't come over here, just kill people, do whatever you want to do and get off scot-free. If you're over here illegally, you're going to be targeted. And if you're over here illegally and you commit crimes, you would not get any kind of breaks. You would not get any kind of leeway or special treatment. But I digress. We are disheartened that ghoulish and inappropriate public commentary has politicized this tragedy, the Democratic prosecutor said in a statement. Much of such commentary, including tweets by the president, fails to acknowledge that both Edwin Jackson and Jeffrey Monroe lost their lives on Sunday. We will simply seek justice on behalf of the families of those two victims. Now, here's the thing. Okay, I understand what you mean, that the primary objective here is to seek justice for those that died, but let's not ignore the fact that this guy was here illegally and had been deported twice before. There's a lot of that type of stuff going on. Illegals coming over here and just doing whatever they want to do and pretty much getting away with it scot-free. There needs to be a message sent. You can't come over here illegally, no license, can't speak English, and just do whatever you want to do. It's like that guy, Zarate, or Zarata, whatever his name was, that killed Kate Stanley, talking about, oh, he found a gun on the ground, picked it up, and it went off, so it wasn't his fault. He didn't try to kill her intentionally. He had been deported a bunch of times before, and the only reason he was allowed to be here was because he was in a sanctuary state, really, but a sanctuary city. I think it was in San Francisco. So we can't ignore that fact. We have enough issues over here in the States that we need to take care of without trying to give harbor to other problems from other countries. But I'll move on. Torres also said that Orrego-Zavala's immigration status has no bearing on the crash case. The attorney noted his client has been living and doing construction work in the Indianapolis area for several years. A spokesman for Jackson's family has said his relatives are devastated and plan no response to Trump's tweets about the crash and the suspect's immigration status. Quote, the family is in shock, as you can imagine. This obviously has happened so unexpectedly, Atlanta attorney Daniel Meacham said. Well, no, I can't speak for the family, and RIP to both men that died. But I think that the family probably is going to agree with Trump here, because they know if this guy was not here illegally, that their brother, their son, their father, their friend will still be alive. Investigators said that they believe Orrego-Zavala was intoxicated at the time of the Indiana crash. Orrego-Zavala had a 2005 conviction for driving under the influence in Redwood City, California. He has numerous other misdemeanor convictions and arrests in California and Indiana. According to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement spokeswoman Nicole Alberico. In the 2005 case, he pleaded no contest to two separate drunken driving offenses and was given a brief jail sentence. San Mateo County District Attorney Steve Wagstaff said Tuesday. Orrego-Zavala remains jailed in Indianapolis. Federal and county prosecutors spell his name as Orrego-Zavala in charging documents, but his attorney said his name is spelled Orrego-Savala, a spelling listed among his aliases in his federal documents. Yeah, he had a different name. I'm not quite sure what it was, but he gave a different name to the police at first. I think it was Gonzalez or Torres or something like that, like a lot of illegal immigrants do. They give you false names because they have no ID, no social security card, no license, no nothing. He appeared Tuesday before a judge who advised him of his rights. Indianapolis television station WRTV reported that Orrego-Zavala told the judge through his interpreter, I wasn't driving the car. I don't know why I'm here. Really? Okay. So you got prior drunken driving convictions when you were here in California illegally in 2005, and then you get the same charge again. You killed two people talking about, I didn't drive the car, and you ran from the car. If you weren't driving it, why did you run from the car? But I digress. The article concludes a police news release did not mention the presence of anyone else in the pickup truck. It probably wasn't. It might have been. I'll take that back. It might have been people in the truck aside from him. That's a good point to mention, but it was most likely him that was driving. He might try to say, oh, my other friend Jorge, whoever, was driving and it wasn't me, and they never find Jorge, and then they get him off on a light sentence. But nah, he was driving. He's done the same thing before, got convicted for it, went to jail in the whole 9 yards. As I close, I want to say this. It's really unfortunate. Rest in peace to Edwin Jackson and the Uber driver. Really unfortunate situation, but things like this can be prevented. If he was not allowed to be over here, if he was, if you had more of a stringent security system, border wall, you can't come over here and overstay your visa and stuff like that. If we had those type of things going on, then we would have less tragedies like this. Like I talked about earlier, the guy Zarate who killed Kate Stanley, the guy who killed Jamil Shaw Jr. in L.A. There's a lot of people that have had their lives ruined by illegal immigrants, including those that got sneered at or no respect given to them at the State of the Union address. The black family who said, hey, it doesn't matter what your politics are. If you have a loved one that passes away, I'm going to show them respect. The Democrats have no respect. They don't care. You saw the Democrat person in this article here, the prosecutor, attorney, whatever it was, talk about, oh, well, the comments were ghoulish, is that, and the third. No, the comments were appropriate. A lot of people all over the U.S. are feeling the sting of illegal immigration and what it does to them. Not just things like this where lives are lost, but also the jobs that are lost, the culture that is lost. Look at Compton, California. At one point, it was majority black. Now it's majority Hispanic. Try being a black person in Southern California trying to get a regular job and you don't speak Spanish and English at the same time, or at least Spanish. Good luck with that. We're seeing places be totally changed from what they were before because of illegal immigration. If you want to come over here legally, that's fine. Go through the process. It should be a tough process. This is a highly in-demand country to come to. If we had open borders, everybody in the world want to come here for the most part. A few people wouldn't want to come here because they live in nice, safe countries in Europe, Japan, or whatever. But for the most part, everybody want to be over here. Everybody wants to come visit. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. But it is a finite resource. Therefore, we need to protect her with all our might. So I say get that border wall built up, get a tighter security system in the airport so they can't come over here on a plane or overstay their visa, tighten their visas up, do all these things, do more raids, do more of those kind of things to prevent tragedies like this from happening ever again. So what do you think? Do you think that this situation was not as a result of illegal immigration? And if that's your case, please explain to me why. He was here illegally, had been deported twice, had other crimes aside from being here illegally that he'd been convicted of, numerous misdemeanor, quote unquote, misdemeanor crimes. That could be anything. He could have had a more serious crime and then play it down to misdemeanor, but he had the charge in 2005 of drunk driving and went to jail for that. So if you think that the border wall and security would not have prevented this, then what would have? I think it kind of makes common sense to me, but do you think I'm right with my assertion that illegal immigration is most certainly a problem? In this case, is a tragedy among many other tragedies that should let us know to get the whole immigration thing tightened up, whether it be the chain migration, which caused, I think there was a terror attack in New York. You got the lottery system, another terror attack came as a result of that, illegal immigration. You got Jamil Shaw Jr., you got Kate Stanley, you got Edwin Jackson. How many more names must we talk about that have been affected negatively by illegal immigration before we wake up and say no more? But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.